Welcome to Rick's Corner. I have a very special guest today, Nita Marquez, who is an IFBB Pro bodybuilder, right?
Fitness.
There's two different things, right?
Yeah.
And Miss National Fitness, you said?
Yes, Miss National Fitness 2008, and fitness is a huge variation from bodybuilding.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I know that.
Big difference.
I shouldn't have even said it. They're totally
But I do have biceps like a bodybuilder.
Yes, you do.
A lot of bodybuilders are quite impressed with them.
I'm very impressed with it. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a lot of questions.
Okay.
How old were you when you first got into this, and what prompted you to want to do it?
Well, it's funny because I talk about this, and I've talked about it in a number of interviews. I was actually fat growing up.
Seriously?
Yeah, I'm 4'10", as you know, very short, and I was chubby growing up, and the kids at school called me low fat.
Okay.
Because I was short and chubby.
Low and fat.
Low and fat, exactly. I had a guy tell me the other day, "Oh, they should have called you sweet and low." Bad line, but
Well, that's not bad. I like that. I actually kind of like that.
now I'm sweet and low. But basically, you know, I grew up with a weight issue. I had just an enormous self-esteem challenge to overcome. And when I was in college, I dated a guy that worked out at the gym, and I started learning some things from him. And then when I met my ex-husband, he was looking at all these muscle mags, and I was like looking at these women with these amazing physiques, and I remembered Corey Everson, the great Corey Everson. And I remembered watching her show when I was a teenager and just thinking, wow, what a beautiful sculpted piece of femininity she looks like. I just was like so awestruck by her.
She was awesome.
I mean, yeah. And Sharon, I mean, Trish, during that era of women's bodybuilding, it was a very different physique than you see now in women's bodybuilding. And it was more like what we see in fitness and even in figure. And just looking at those women, and at the time that I first entered the industry, Kelly Ryan was at her peak. She was going to the World Championships, which I later got to go to as a result of winning the Team Universe.
Right.
And she was just, to me, I would watch all her tapes, and I would watch just all the fitness women from that time, the opening years of fitness in the NPC and the IFBB, and I was just enamored with their movement and the challenges that I could tell they overcame to do the things they did on stage, and their bodies were just insane. And of course, we all love Monica Brandt, and someone we don't see very often anymore, Lena Johansson, Mary Yaki, all very phenomenal athletes. And just, I got into fitness because these women were the women in the magazines. Tita Jo Bainge was one of the first female fitness models that I had seen that I was like, wow, this is a really extraordinary physique. And anybody who knows Tina Jo Bainge's body knows that was like the ideal physique. I mean, every woman wanted that girl's body. Every guy wanted her body too.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But what I loved was just, again, the lines and the sculpting. And when I got into fitness, it was just a matter of my ex-husband kind of exposing me to these magazines, and then me reading a little bit more and more every month. Well, what do these girls do, and what are they up to? And then I started seeing the competitions everywhere, and I was just, the first time I got on a fitness stage, I was hooked.
Yeah, but how many people, I mean, there's one thing to lose weight from being a butterball and then feeling good about yourself. It's a whole nother issue to have this, to be able to go in and challenge the competition. I mean, that's a huge step, and you've got to really know yourself and know that you can do it.
Oh, absolutely. For me, I grew up with a weight issue. I was very poor. I didn't have any dance or gymnastics background. And here I was going up against girls like, you know, Kelly Ryan had been. I mean, I wasn't going up against her, but she was in the IFBB, and I was just coming into the NPC, and I'm like looking at her, who's this girl who's been in gymnastics with, you know, what is it, Bella Caroli, is that his name? The famous gymnastics coach.
Well, but that's all towards the posing end too, right? You had to learn all that.
Yeah, I had to learn all of that. There was the posing, there was the routines had lots of gymnastics. I had no dance background, no gymnastics background, just a lot of raw talent and just a lot of ambition. I really wanted it so bad. So I spent every single day practicing whatever I could with my capabilities. And then I went to a gymnastics coach for half an hour twice a week and just got some technique coaching. And I mean, I would drill everything he taught me. I would drill it every day for like hours sometimes.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Oh, and you know, my ex-husband used to say something, and I'm divorced now, but everybody knows, you know, I speak really highly of my ex-husband for the ways that he cheered me on getting into this industry. And he was a great support system getting into the industry. One of the things he used to tell me is, you know, as an athlete, it's not what you do when you're coached. It's what you do when you're not with your coach that makes you the better athlete.
That's true.
And so it was just every day, just work.
I saw you doing one-arm push-ups.
Yeah, those are easy though. That's everybody does those now. My 11-year-old was doing those when she was 2.
It is easy?
It really is. It really is. One-arm push-ups aren't that hard. When you're doing body presses and suspending all your weight on 1 or 2 arms, and that's a challenge. That's a bit of a
total challenge. I mean, gymnastics, and it's just like wrestling out here. It's all dance and gymnastics, and I have people that come here who aren't in shape, and they say they need to get in shape before they do this. Well, this will get you in shape, but it's like fitness modeling, it's like bodybuilding, it's wrestling, it's gymnastics. It all takes a great deal of hard work and focus and a lot of pain.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of pain involved with what you're doing, and you have to just push it aside.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, nothing worth having comes easy, and definitely the pain is worth the pleasure, the rewards.
Yeah. So did you ever think that you would take it this far?
You know, it's funny. I talk about that. I have 2 women's books coming out later this year, possibly next year we'll be launching. But in my second book, A Decade of Determination, Why It Was Worth It to Go Pro, that's one of the things I talk about is, you know, at the time that I got into fitness, I thought, oh, this is so fun. And then I met my trainer, you know, Tim Sparks, Diehard Gym, in Peoria, Arizona. I met him backstage at my second fitness competition. And he had seen me at my first one and, you know, basically kind of stepped aside backstage at that second show and, you know, asked me a few questions about what I was up to. Was I looking for sponsors? And he wanted me to come and meet with him at his office and talk with him about what my future was in fitness. Yeah. I had no idea what I was walking into. I thought, oh, this would be fun. I might get a sponsor. And it just turned out to be, you know, this relationship where it's like I got another dad, basically. And he's coached me in many ways, not just as an athlete, but as a friend, as sort of like a mentor to me. Just, you know, really what all coaches should do is bond with their clients in a way that they can psych you. When you're psyching yourself down, they can psych you up. And that's what he did. And one day I remember him asking me, what do you want to do with this? And I was like, oh, I think it'll be a lot of fun. I'm going to have fun. And he just looked at me and shook his head like, you know, he couldn't understand. He said, you know, Nita, he said, you could go all the way with this. He said, with your will and your challenge, your will to challenge the things that are in front of you, you always try so hard. And he said, I don't know if I've ever worked with an athlete that's as determined as you are. He said, do you not even see yourself as an athlete? And I was like, well, I guess I am an athlete. I guess. I really didn't see myself that way at that point. I just knew that I had a purpose for the world of fitness, for my life, and as it pertained to me as a person, as a mother, as a woman. My relationship to life and to the world really was founded at that point in time on being just a great fitness personality. I had no idea that I was going to go on and have this hunger to get a national title and go pro. It was like I wasn't really sure of myself, I guess.
Well, there's a difference between you and other people, because many people and bodybuilders alone will do this for themselves and it'll stop right there. Now you're carrying on to different levels and you're feeding it out to the public and to your family, I'm sure, to become better at what they do.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a whole different thing now, and that's a great way to pay back.
Well, yeah, I try. I try to, you know, be a good mother, of course, and a good role model to my children. But I guess if you were to say, yeah, I guess it's my gift. But it's like the way I look at it is my way of relating to the world, relating to life. This is who I am as I relate to life. Now,
okay, and you have your books that are out. Which one's out right now?
Now, currently we have Fit for Combat, which you can buy at Nita's World currently. You can also buy it at Amazon.com.
It's NitasWorld.com.
NitasWorld.com. Yeah, that's my website. We are getting it revamped, so I don't know how much longer we're going to be selling the book through the site. But Amazon.com, you can get Fit for Combat by J.D. Johannes and Nita Marquez there.
And what's the book about?
Basically, Fit for Combat was something that I wrote with my business partner, J.D. Johannes, who is also a film producer. He produces a lot of war story type documentary footage, and his footage is shot on the front lines. He literally, I mean, he's not Anderson Coopering it. He's going on the front lines and being shot at to film these documentaries. But what's fascinating, what I found fascinating about JD was he had this really great intrigue with the world of fitness and bodybuilding. And he had been talking to some women out in Miami who were really into the bodybuilding world when I met him. And he was really trying to get into shape and get fit. And he had been struck in battle because he was so overweight that he couldn't move fast enough to get past the bullets. And so he had been struck. It was a minor injury, if you even want to call it an injury, but he was struck. And he was looking for ways to get himself in shape to be able to do what he does.
Yeah.
And that's how I met him. And when I met him, it was more or less him looking for some new ways to work in the world of fitness, not just as a person who's getting fit, but he wanted to see how he can convert his skills into something that can make money for him in the fitness world.
Right.
So he wanted